Stories of Salem, presented by Capital Community Media. I'm your host, Megan Jonas, reporting with my co-host, Ashley Jackson Lawrence. This week, we interview local artist and author Glenda Goodrich about the upcoming release of her debut book, Solo Passage, which details her experiences going on wilderness quests in remote places to find the answers to her lifelong questions. Listen in to hear about her book, art practice, and relationship with the natural world around her, and more on this episode.
My name is Glenda Goodrich, but my nickname is Gigi, so I always encourage people to call me Gigi. I am an artist, a mixed media artist, an art doula. I'm now a writer as well, a ceremonialist, and I am a soul collage facilitator. So my life is really full with art, expressive arts mostly. I'm a grandmother and a great-grandmother as well. I call myself Mother Nature's daughter, Mother Earth's daughter, because that's where I find my respite and it's my go-to place, like my church. I had a career in human resources, which was a great career to have because it came easy for me. It was a good way to support myself. I've been married before, but I haven't been married for many, many years. So that used a lot of my skills, but probably 20 years ago or so, I really stepped into becoming an artist. I don't think I would be me without my art and my creative practice, really. It's what makes me me. And I do a lot of teaching because I love helping others explore the potential there. People often think that they're not creative or they're not talented, and we all are. Often we just need some support and encouragement, and I love doing that. I'm a Libra. So I'm very balanced. Libras are all about balance and beauty. I think I'm fortunate that both sides of my brain are pretty engaged. I'm very creative, and I'm also organized. So I can pull things off. I love that, I love the ceremonies and the Vision Quest way. The term Vision Quest is actually from Indigenous peoples, First Nations people. It's a powerful ceremony. I go with a group. I've been questing with the same group now for about 12 years. We're the Wild Hearts, we call ourselves. We go out together and we have circle sharing and witnessing one another's stories. We choose our solo places, then we go out for the 4 days and 4 nights alone, and then we come back and share and help one another with mirroring, where you tell a story and then your circle sisters will reflect back to you what they heard from you. And in that way you can make meaning out of what happens. And sometimes it takes years. When I wrote the book, I really relived every quest and found a deeper and deeper spiraling into what was that quest really about. I didn't even really know what I was getting into when I went on my first one. I was just like, oh, this is so cool. My sister had given me a book and I read about questing in it and I thought, wow, that's so cool. And then I happened to find a flyer in Ashland on a bulletin board. And I said, I'm doing this. It was like, I'm doing it. I don't know if you've had things like that in your life where you don't really know why, you just know you're doing it. So it was like that. And I went on my first quest in Death Valley. And I, was pretty overwhelmed, extremely bored, lonely, wanted to go home so bad, desperately homesick. It took probably my first 2 days before I really settled into understanding, oh, okay, there's something else going on here besides me, and my hunger and my boredom and my loneliness. To safely go, I would say find a guide that you trust, who's experienced, or a group of people who have gone before and know what to expect and can tell you what to expect. And pay attention to the signs from your own body of, people can get sick, pretty sick fasting. And so you have to know what to look for with that. I remember I loved it when my first guides told me, in Death Valley, you are a guest in their world out here. So, be courteous, be respectful, watch around you for things. I mean, there's mostly scorpions and rattlesnakes and things in Death Valley, but little things can be pretty powerfully deadly too. They would say, you know, before you put your boots on, shake them out. Is there anybody in there? Let them be free before you stick your toe in there. That kind of thing, to just slow down. So safety is a factor. We never go, you know, when it's hunting season, any places where it's hunting season. And don't go alone. Yeah, but go. I'm really grateful to have this opportunity to talk about the book. I mean, I've been working on this book for 6 years to write it, 2 years for the publishing. So I'm like, okay, I'm ready, let's go. It's a collection of essays about the healing and restorative powers of nature, as illustrated by 13 vision quests that I participated in over a 20-year period. And it's stories about what happened to me on those quests, how I made meaning out of what happened, what nature brought, what kind of gifts came, the hardships, you know, the wonderful moments, the mysteries that are still unsolved in terms of visitations and things that happened. So it's an adventure book, it's a memoir, it's a mind, body, spirit book. One classification I saw, I don't know if it was on Amazon, but it said self-help. And I'm like, oh, that's a bit of a reach, but I guess, yeah, it's encouraging people to go out and find some of the answers to their nagging life questions just by being alone in nature. The book started as a legacy project. It was just going to be for my kids and my grandkids and my great-grandkids, all my descendants, because I wanted them to know about the wilderness and the joys, the gifts that, you know, can be discovered through questing. And then the stories came together, and I took some writing workshops, and people were really encouraging me to let it have a broader audience. You know, this is important work. So then the book became its own entity, and it almost insisted on being written. And I wasn't really a writer, or certainly not an author. So I studied with a writing teacher in Portland for 4 years and worked with a couple of other writing coaches and said to this book, okay, I'll show up for you, do my best. There were some tough times writing it, you know, with any memoir. When you're my age and you look back over things, there's always, you know, those ups and downs, and some of that was difficult to write, but I never stopped. I knew the minute it came to me to write the book that I was going to have to do it. It was almost demanding. I did it, you know, when I was getting ready to retire, wondering what would I do with my life, kind of. And my mantra was, I just want it to be worthy. I want my writing to be worthy of these stories. I didn't envision, you know, some kind of a book that was going to be a bestseller. I just wanted to do it justice. To really write like a scene or get an emotion across, I had to learn to do that. The book can be pre-ordered, and bookshop.org is the best option for that, because part of the profits go back to local bookstores. But you can also pre-order it on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, or Indie Books. That's another independent option. It comes out the 26th of September. I'm having a book launch party at the Book Bin in downtown Salem on October 1st at 5 p.m. And I'm going to have little cookies with the cover of my book on them, some refreshments, and I'll do a book reading and a Q&A. It'll be fun. I like to think that I have deep cultural appreciation. I honor where it all came from. I'm not trying to commodify it. I did have a Native person read my book, a sensitivity reader. You can have someone who is an editor who is in that community read it and give you feedback on whether or not you're using anything inappropriately, or, you know. So I'm grateful for all this. I'm still learning. But there is something about the presumptuousness of entitlement. Oh, well, that's available, so I'm just going to take that. Yeah, so I've given a lot of thought to Indigenous ways, and I just want to be respectful, and I hope I can continue to make beauty in the world and add value to people's lives, and to, you know, I hope I can live long enough to see my book do a little bit and maybe have some people contact me about vision questing, maybe people who read the book, maybe they have questions or they just want to tell me that it inspired them. I hope, that could happen for myself. I want to be kind and live a life of keeping my simple place,
Glenda Goodrich's debut book, Solo Passage, will be released on September 26, 2023. A book launch will be held at the Book Bin on October 1st at 5 p.m. Solo Passage is available through independent bookseller bookshop.org, Amazon, and Barnes & Noble. I'm Megan Jonas from CC Media, and this is Stories of Salem. Thanks for listening.